I remember waking up one summer morning when I was 5, feeling super hungry. My mom's asleep and hadn't cooked breakfast yet, and with 2 other kids in the house, there wasn't a lot of leftover food lying around. And so after, looking in the kitchen for a bit, I decided to grab an apple from the fruit basket. Now the apple was whole, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to bite through it because I was missing both of my 2 front teeth. And so I knew that I needed a knife to slice the apple with, and I started opening every drawer in the kitchen. Finally, I pull open a drawer that's directly to the left of the kitchen sink. There's all sorts of knives in there, and I honestly have no idea which kind I need to cut the apple with, so I just grab the largest knife I can find. I hold the apple down with my left hand tightly and slowly begin to press the knife's edge to the top of the apple. And it's a serrated knife, and I don't really realize at the time that it's best to cut with a back and forth motion with knives like this. Instead, I try pushing the knife down as hard as I can, and doing this causes the apple to slip out of my hand, and the knife pierces the left side of my index finger. And I start to see blood dripping onto the counter, and I turn my hand over and can see a small laceration on the side of my finger. The sight of the blood was enough to send me packing towards panic mode. And my mom comes bursting into the kitchen after hearing me freak out, and I turn to her with my bloody finger and she screams, "Oh my God, what did you do?" And she quickly grabs a towel to stop the bleeding, and as she's doing this, she's screaming, "What were you doing? How did you cut your finger?" And I scream back, "I was hungry, so I tried to cut an apple." She takes me into the bathroom to wash off the blood and get a bandage to cover the wound. And as she's doing this, she looks at me with upset eyes and she asks, "What were you doing? You don't know how to use a knife. Don't ever do that again." I reply with a quiet whimper, I'm sorry that I did that. I was just hungry and you were asleep, and I won't ever do that again." And I was right. I didn't use a knife again. Not until many years later. You see, that day when my mom told me that I didn't know how to use a knife, I had made up my mind that using knives was something that I just couldn't do. Other people were good at using knives, but not me. The lesson I took away from that day was one that I carried with me for a long time, and that's that some people are good at some things, and some people aren't. And if you're not good at something, you just stay away from it. It's a mindset that I'd kept with me until my mid-30s. You see, that moment developed in me what Stanford social psychologist Carol Dweck calls a fixed mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe that their intelligence and their abilities are fixed and that they can't be changed in any meaningful way. So you're either good at math or you're not good at math. And what does that mean? Well, that means they place a lot of value on skills and talents, and therefore they protect their skills and talents at all costs. In fact, they protect their skills and talents so strongly that they feel threatened by other people's skills and talents, especially if those other people are deemed as superior. So if you're not good at math, you avoid situations where you have to show your math skills, especially around those who are better at math. People with a fixed mindset avoid learning new skills because often learning new skills means you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And mistakes are seen as failures rather than opportunities to grow and learn. So they may also fear new experiences or avoid risks, or even go out of their way to orchestrate their lives so that the only things they expose to others are the things they're really good at. Well, what's wrong with living with a fixed mindset? Well, the issue is that to achieve the things we so badly want to achieve in our lives, like starting a new business or moving up in our career or trying to get better at connecting with others, it often requires learning new skills. But if we don't believe we're capable of learning those new skills, how will we ever move closer towards our goals? If you believe that you've been struggling with a fixed mindset and that it's been holding you back from achieving your goals or your dreams or just from making meaningful progress in your life, I'd like to introduce you to the growth mindset. According to Carol Dweck, a growth mindset is a belief that our intelligence and abilities can be developed over time with proper practice. People with a growth mindset are more willing to confront challenges. They view failures as springboards for growth, and they have a passion for learning. Not surprisingly, this type of mindset is linked strongly to greater happiness and achievement in life. So if you feel that you've been struggling with a fixed mindset and that your life is stuck, and that a fixed mindset has prevented you from realizing your full potential, I'd like to share with you 4 steps you can take beginning today to start to develop a growth mindset. Step 1 is to recognize that you've been learning new skills your entire life. You weren't born with the ability to walk, talk, read, or ride a bike. those were skills you had to develop over time. Recognize the fact that you've already been learning new skills your entire life and that you're capable of learning anything new that you want to learn going forward. Step 2 is to trust that you can improve. Just because you haven't been good at something in the past doesn't mean you can't get better at it with practice. In fact, neuroscientists have proven over and over again that our brains are elastic and will actually create new neurological connections every single time we learn something new. In other words, every time we practice something, a new neurological pathway is created. Practice enough and those pathways connect to create a new network of pathways that previously didn't exist in our brain. And that's how you go from someone who was previously bad at math to someone who excels at it, or someone who had social anxiety to someone who gets energized by connecting with other people. You have to be willing to believe that you can improve, because as Henry Ford once famously said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're probably right. Step 3 is to learn to love the effort, not the outcome. You know, when a toddler is learning how to walk, it falls down quite a bit. Imagine if every time that toddler fell down, it felt like a failure and got down on itself for not achieving its goal. No, the toddler gets back up, she brushes off her bottom, and she takes 5 wobbly steps from the couch to the coffee table before finally falling on her bottom again. And in spite of this, she lets out a giant scream of excitement. And then over time, she walks 10 feet from the coffee table to the kitchen before falling over. Eventually, she's walking all around the house without falling. Often, when a fixed-minded person is learning a new skill, they're so focused on performing that skill exactly right that they shortchange themselves from the natural process of learning. Listen, skills take time to develop. So if you can focus on the process of developing the skill and less on the outcome of having the skill, you're going to give yourself a much better chance of sticking to it long enough to actually master it. And finally, step 4 is to pick something today that you're not good at and improve. Singing, learning math, running a business, whatever it is, look for a beginner's guide or a class and start the process of learning and getting better. And take small steps. There's no need to learn it all at once. Take it a day at a time. Listen, I hope this video was able to give you some new insights on how to get yourself unstuck and to begin to develop a growth mindset. Because if you don't, you run the risk of being stuck in park the rest of your life, while you're watching everybody else drive right past you as they improve and they move closer to their dreams. Please share this with anybody that you know who might be struggling with what they truly want to achieve in life. And if you've enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like it, please like or follow Socially Connected on Facebook or YouTube. I'm Nomi Malik, and remember, connection starts with you. Until next time.